This is Sports 845 with Daren Kunis and Dick O'Neill.
It is November 7th, 2023. This is Sports 845. To my right, the legendary basketball coach at Burke and at Monticello, who had a stint with the Harlem Globetrotters, the legendary head coach Dick O'Neill. And to my left, and I really got to thank him for coming. It's a trip. The head coach at Newburgh, Billy Bianco. We're going to do section 9 first. Let me just tell you a little bit about Billy. Billy is a phys ed teacher at Newburgh. He's been with the football program for 23 years. He's been the head coach for 15 years. And Dick, this is an amazing stat. He's been there for 15 years. He's won 8 AA titles. I'm not great at math, but that's more than half the time. Every other year, he wins a AA title.
Sounds good to me.
He's been to the Carrier Dome as a state runner-up 3 different times. This year, no different, 8-1. His lone loss was to the Middies, 28-17. That loss came at Fowler Field. At Newburgh, I apologize. So Saturday at 1 o'clock, Billy and his team get a chance to avenge that loss as they play the Middies. Real quick, in AA, I just told you, Middletown, Newburgh, Saturday at 1. A is the perennial team that always comes out of A. Cornwall plays Lords. In the Class B, we have Port Jervis and Marlborough. In C, it's O'Neill versus Chester. We're going to speak to a kid from James O'Neill later on. And in Class D, Burke, which clinched the Class D title 8 months ago, plays the winner of Tuckahoe and Haldane.
Okay.
But let's talk Newburgh football because Billy took the trip here, and I'm sure you just got done with practice.
Yep.
Just got done with practice. Billy, tell us about your team this year. You're 8-1. You have that one loss I'm sure you were deep down, you didn't care who you played, but you probably wanted another crack at the Middies.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the one loss. I think it was week 4 of the season. Middletown came to Newburgh that day, and they played well. They capitalized on our mistakes, and then they made plays when they needed to. Credit to them. But in regards to us, yeah, I mean, it's always good when you get a chance to replay someone that you played earlier in the year and at least have an opportunity to potentially avenge.
Plenty of film, and you know their tendencies. Well, I don't know about after one game, but you certainly, I'm sure you've studied them.
At this day and age with, the video systems everybody has, I mean, everybody's got every game on everyone. So there's no real secrets in the sense of everyone's base offense, defense, special teams. Every week there's going to be wrinkles that people put in for that game. But, I mean, the base stuff, I would say, is pretty locked in for all the teams. So it's really just can the kids get out there, execute the game plan, and play well when the lights are on. So we'll see.
I don't want to. We're off the record, but Middletown's opening up with play action on the first play on offense. So, Timmy said not to say anything, but I'm sure you want to take that. Before we get to your team, Timmy was in here last week, and we get along great with all the coaches. We have to because A, we like them, and B, they give us the time. What'd you think of Middletown's quarterback, 8th grader?
Yeah, I mean he's definitely a talented player. He's poised. He definitely did a good job versus us the last time we played him. I think obviously the future's bright. I mean, if you're playing the AA program, and you're, playing at the level he's playing right now, his future's bright. I mean, I think so far he's shown pretty good poise.
Has he? Okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
Delivering the ball to where it's got to be from what I see. So, I think the future's bright for him.
Your team, you're 8-1. Excuse me. Are you a senior-laden team? You a young team?
I would say, I don't want to give you a cliche answer, but I would say we're pretty balanced. We have seniors like every team has, but I wouldn't say we're mostly seniors. Our quarterback will be back next year. We got a couple linemen back next year, a couple skill guys back next year, and then we do have our seniors that have been great for us, and like every high school team in the country, they'll lose them in graduation.
I always say high school coaching is the toughest job there is to continue winning. That's why it's pretty incredible what you've done, what Cornwall has done, because you're replacing kids every 3 years, no matter what, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in the NFL.
Yeah, there's
NBA,
free agency,
free
and
agency,
college
you
has
can-
turned into free
you can
agency
kinda
and
keep
portal
the
and
talent
everything.
every year. For us, you get a new set of cards sent to you each year, and you got to kind of shuffle and make them work. So, I mean, being flexible in what you do, schematically, I think is important with that. And then just once again building that program from the bottom up where the kids are funneling through to you.
Is
I think
Newburgh
that's important.
is Newburgh the largest school in AA, or is middle?
Yeah, we are.
You are.
Yeah.
So you have obviously you have a ton of kids on your roster. I'm sure you have a JV program. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a freshman and a modified team as well?
Yeah, so we have a varsity JV, we have freshmen, and then we also have a modified program, and then we have the 2 youth programs in our district.
That leads me to my next question. How involved are you? I'm sorry.
Okay.
How involved are you in the youth programs and the JV and the modified?
Right. So I try to, help them when I can. Our schedule this year has been very quirky. We've been playing Thursday night games, and then it's been weird.
So as much as you can.
I try to as much as I can. Try to do more in the off season than in season. But it's the type of thing. I have 2 leagues, so I got to kind of space myself out between the 2 of them, and then I also have my 7th and 8th graders I got to work with too. But I try to help when I can, and we try to, I know I'm always there for them if they need anything, that type of stuff. Just a phone call away. I always try to make time for them. I know I spoke at the clinic, the youth football clinic they ran. OCYFL ran out at Monticello before the season, and I know I spoke 3 or 4 sessions up there.
Largest attendance they
And
probably ever had.
So
there.
I try when I can. It's just once again, the last 2 years for us have been very strange with our schedule. Whether it's been Saturday games, which were the same days as them, and then the Thursdays is quirky too because then it changes the schedule for the next week. It's not like you're playing on a Friday, you're off Saturday, and then so it's been just very strange. But it is what it is.
Can I ask you about your numbers? How many you got? How many you got on your varsity team?
On the varsity, we're pushing 50.
Oh,
40,
are you? How
45
about
to 50.
JV?
JV 40 to 45.
That's
And
great.
Freshman 25 to 30.
okay, that's still. That's still
Yeah,
pretty good.
25
And
to 30.
modified, you got.
Modified probably about 30.
Oh,
So you got a lot of
so,
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, our youth football at the older levels,
Yeah.
it has done. They get a lot. So I mean, I think the one league has around 30. The other one has around 25.
Are you
So-
seeing more kids starting to play again because there was the lull there? When everybody's mother didn't want them playing football anymore. At that young level.
Yeah, I mean, we're. I know at our youth programs, I believe our one is the biggest one around, and that's not even counting the other league.
Okay,
So
all right,
football
all right.
in Newburgh is flourishing.
Oh,
I don't
good.
think-
Good.
It's not.
I'm
it's
glad
not-
to hear that.
I'm,
glad
and
to
I
hear
don't.
that.
I don't mean I'm talking wins and losses. I'm just talking about
Numbers.
numbers.
Oh no, that's
But
what I'm talking about. I'm glad to hear that. I'm
people are
really glad to
playing.
hear that. Yeah.
Our youth programs have done a good job promoting it
Bill-
before it gets to us.
Billy,
So, credit to them.
I know not Newburgh, but Section 9 has, in the last few years, frowned upon playing night games.
Mhm.
Is that something that goes on in Newburgh? You don't play any more night games on Friday nights or Saturday nights?
Okay, so yeah, there's been a lot.
And hold on, before you answer that, Dick and I'm being honest with you. We used to, when my kid was playing, I've been to every place.
Mhm.
And I've been to Newburgh for night games 2 or 3 times. And it's important to say this because I believe Newburgh gets a bad rap. I've been there 2 or 3 times. It's been 2 or 3 of the best experiences I've had. The field is beautiful. The fans were fine. There was 0 issues in me going to anything in Newburgh.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of talk about we've played a bunch of Thursday games this year. So obviously we had the unfortunate thing that happened in
Which had nothing to do
nothing
with
to do
your
with the
football
game.
team.
It wasn't inside
Nothing.
the gates. It was in the a couple of years ago. We originally made a decision. We were thinking about playing Saturday games. As time went on, and we just time went on, gave us some time. We came to the decision we were going to allow to play night games. When we called the league back to schedule our night games, they had booked all the officials for Friday night. So the choice was, do you want to play Saturday afternoon or Thursday night games?
Mhm.
So we played 3 Thursday night games
Mm-hmm.
in place, but next year I would expect us to be back to Friday 6
Yeah,
o'clock. I don't
yeah.
think it's
Gotcha.
anything more than that. I
Yeah,
think
and
it's-
again, I
and
want
that
to.
wasn't any reason
Mm.
like to do with anything that happened. That was just it was a scheduling thing with officials this year.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to officiate anymore.
Yeah, it's a tough gig.
In every sport. I'm just not talking about football, soccer. We got a problem. Basketball. I was talking to basketball referees today. They have real issues.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's the type of thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak for anyone, but they have to think about incentivizing a little bit. Maybe it's financially or whatever to make it more attractive.
Yeah.
I mean, you got all these districts,
Yeah.
pulling all this money together, and what's another $20 per?
Well,
I mean,
I agree.
Big
With that.
scheme.
I agree with that.
I agree.
You have to do something to incentivize it. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So Billy, you've been there a long time, 15 years as the head coach. Your assistant's been with you the same. I mean, I'm sure you've had some changes, but for the most part, do you change coaching staffs every?
I wouldn't say I change on purpose. It's just the
They
reality.
get offered opportunities.
You're in high school, you get offered opportunities, and then different things in life come up for different people, and time constraints change. People move on. People go to other places. So I would say my staff is mixed with guys that have been with me, and then
Who's your staff?
some newer guys. So we do something a little unique. My freshman JV and varsity coaches coach everything together in the sense of
I like that.
I have an offensive staff and a defensive staff. Now on game day, I deploy them whatever level they're at to coach, their level. But as far as individual periods go, the core staff on the varsity JV and the freshman was a little quirky this year because I had some turnover right before the year. But the varsity JV kind of do everything together. So offensively for us, I call the offense.
You do. You call the offense.
Ben Lazarski's has been with me the whole time I've been the head coach. He was a captain at Maine, was a captain at Newburgh, teacher in the district. Quarterback coach is Brian Begliando. He was the head coach at Walk Hill for a long time. My running back coach is Tyree Smallwood, star running back at Cornwall. Wide receiver coach is Mike Robinson, played NFA, played in the Arena League. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. And then defensively, my D-line coach is Matt Geyer, who played at Newburgh. Linebacker coach is Chris Leggett, who's the head wrestling coach. Used to coach varsity football with Coach
I know that
Chatham.
name.
So he's back. Paul Passione's the outside backer coach. He was a captain at NFA back in the day. And then Anthony Mann coaches our defensive backs. He was the D coordinator at Warwick for a long time. So I would say our staff is pretty large, and then on top of that, it's also pretty seasoned in the sense of they've been around the block. A couple different head coaches, a couple different guys who played at the next level, Division I. So and then also I would say too, just not sugarcoating it, we're pretty diverse too as far as what we look like racially, where we were from, city, town, New Windsor. So we're pretty diverse.
How long has Brian been with you? He was my grandson's coach at Walk Hill.
I think Veg's been with us probably
Can't be more than 3 or 4 years.
2 or 3 years.
Does his kids?
Definitely two.
Are they in the district? Or
Yeah,
they are in
his
your
son,
district.
His son,
Oh,
Jackson's
okay.
on our team.
At what level is he?
He's on varsity.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
What
he's a junior.
position?
He's a wide receiver.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Now,
Oh, I think I knew that. I knew that.
Billy, about your players, talk to us about your leaders, your team.
So yeah, I mean, we obviously were in the state championship last year, and we got a bunch of kids that were on that team and now are back. Our leadership starts, I would say, up front. Fabian Roden is a guy who was a 4-year starter for us. 2-way lineman, plays tackle, and also plays. We move him around in the line. He plays D tackle, D end. We kind of float him. So he's
He's your defensive cog.
our oldest guy in the program that we've had. Xavier Sills, our other captain. He's a 3-year guy. Jude Rivas has been on the team for 3 years. Jay Sean Thomas has been on the team for 3 years. Tyjae Walker's been on the team for 3 years. Our running back. Up front, Braden Gonseth and Jose Rivera have both been guys that have been 3 years. I think Braden's 2, but just a steady leader. And then obviously quarterback wise, Mason Hoover. Now he's going on his 3rd year.
I'm sorry, what's the name?
Mason Hoover.
Okay.
On being on the deal. So being our quarterback, he came in as a freshman 2 years ago when Dylan Iolano got hurt in the section final in the first quarter of the game. Came in as a 9th grader, JV call-up. He won that game, won a state playoff game the next week as a 9th grader, and then we lost in the final 4 of the state. But than obviously the run last year into this year. So.
No,
You
yeah,
guys
Billy,
did a
you
lot, too.
you run an incredible program. I mean, really. And by the way, congratulations! You had your 100th win a few weeks ago, correct?
I think it was last year.
Was it last year?
Last
yeah,
year.
So it was more than a few
Yeah.
weeks ago. It's
Yeah.
like 40 weeks ago.
it is a few, but
I wasn't wrong.
yeah.
So 100 wins. That's great. Kevin Gallagher got his 100th win this
Kevin
year.
just got
I'm
his
sorry.
100th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I knew you went over 100, and I mean 8 AA titles is pretty impressive. You gonna stick around a few minutes?
Yeah, I can take them.
We'll be right back. More with Billy Bianco and Newburgh. This portion of the program brought to you by Orange County Bagel. 4 locations, one in Walden, Washingtonville, Middletown, and Goshen. We do catering for the holidays, catering all the time. Fresh, hot bagels every day. Orange County Bagel with 4 locations. We are back. Sports 845, November 7th, 2023. Supposed to get some Monticello way, sleet and snow mix tomorrow, I'm hearing.
I'd be surprised. I'm hearing down.
Thursday?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
hearing down here pretty nice tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Billy Bianco, nice enough to join us, the head coach of Newburgh Free Academy. Billy, your season ends, or you're towards the end of your season, you're making phone calls to colleges. You have a great group of kids. You, I'm sure, know this kid's a D1 talent, this kid's D2, this kid's D3. Any kid who wants to go on and play at the next level, I'm sure you're making calls. Last year, you had DeAndre Johnson, who's now a wide receiver at a Big Ten D1 school at Rutgers. What other kids have you had through the program that has put Newburgh, I mean, you and the kids put Newburgh on the map?
Yeah, so through the years,
Football-wise.
we've been definitely fortunate enough to have a bunch of kids that have, had the ability and opportunity to play at that level. I'll go back, I've been the head coach since 2009. In 2011, we had Michael Myers went on, was a captain at UConn.
Very good.
On
Very
that
good.
same team, Steven Johnson played at West Point.
Yeah.
Then moving on next year, I think we had a kid, Tucson Helm, played Division I at Lafayette.
Mhm.
Keep going down the I don't want to forget anybody. 2009, my first year, Fred Lockwood played at a full scholarship to Wagner.
Mhm.
Played at NEC.
So when you pick up the phone and
And-
call a head coach, they say, hey, it's Billy Bianco on the phone. He's the head coach at Newburgh, a team that's been in the Dome 3 different times, a big school. They take your call.
Yeah, typically. I mean, I think there's a few things. I mean, first, when you look at Newburgh, okay, the sheer size of our school
Mhm.
and the type of programs we have with football, track, and basketball, colleges generally are going to run through the biggest schools in the area. That just, once again, you're going fishing. You want to go to the
big
ponds
pond.
with the most
With the big
with the most fish.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think everybody runs through. Now, you couple that with the fact we've been very successful. We have a coaching staff, and I'm not saying it's because of me, but I've been there for how many years? It's the same face that they know to come to. We've had other guys, so it's not like it's my first time ever having a scholarship guy. We get scholarship guys. So there's some, I don't want to say, I don't know if the word would be comfortability with me.
Respect.
They're used to, they come in. And then I think we've done a great job, when the kids are young, talking to them about the NCAA clearinghouse and what they got to do
Mhm.
when they're young in their academic careers to get to that point. You couple that piece with a very good coaching staff, good feeder program, and a place where football is important. I think that's what's really allowed more and more kids to get it. I mean, and even on that list too, I mean, I don't want to leave guys out, but I mean, we had Jalen Williams played at Pitt.
Yes.
Tyler Rafferty's at Army right now, played
Yeah.
against LSU the other night.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah,
I know Tyler.
We've had a couple guys.
Well,
So and even last year, Elijah Bevieres got almost a full to New Haven.
Yeah.
Sam Okayo's playing at Wagner. He played against DeAndre a couple weeks ago. They did a jersey swap after.
Billy,
that was great.
if you don't want to answer this, it's fine, but you've been the head coach for a long time. Like you just said, a big program, and you've had huge success. I know you're a gym teacher there and everything, and this is where you live. Have you thought of, or have you been offered other positions above High school?
You know, people say that stuff to me all the time through the years. Okay, I'd be lying if people didn't say that. And I've talked to a couple people through the years about maybe do you ever think about making that jump or looking into it. The reality is this, and I don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole on this, but New York State teachers, retirement, pension, there's a financial aspect as far as what you've worked for most of your teaching career, where if you don't meet the minimum years and service
But
and that type of thing.
we all know what coaches get paid now.
But I'll say this, you know, we have a couple guys that are coaching. Michael Myers actually is coaching right now in New Haven. So, you know, we have a couple other guys that are coaching college.
You like
too.
high school football.
I like college, but right now where I'm at, as a just a person, you have to be secure financially too.
Of course.
And that road to the top is a tough road. There's a million people that are college guys, and you know that's a dog eat dog world. You know what
I
I mean?
have
You're
a
gonna get
friend.
fired and,
I have a
you
friend
know.
of mine who is an associate. I don't even know what it means. An associate coach under prime time from Fallsburg at University of Colorado. All the kid didn't play football in high school. All the kid wants to do is be a football coach.
Right.
He's whatever it is, an associate coach under Dion, and he doesn't make any money, but he travels with the team. He's on the sideline for every game, and all he wants to do is get his foot in the door and get a coaching job. But like you just said, the ladder is huge.
And I would say this, for a younger guy, that's probably the way to go. But for someone like me who's got 23 years vested in the New York State teacher retirement, it becomes not so easy. If it was just about football, maybe.
And the other thing is, the big thing, and he was telling me this, the kid, I know him, the big thing with him is you got a guy like Dion who has changed the culture in Colorado, and I think he's going to get better every year. But when the head coach leaves, you're gone. And if he doesn't take you, you're starting over.
Right.
Again. You're tied to the hip with this coach.
Yeah, and if you look, I mean, a lot of the Division III, even the Division II assistants, even the lower level Division I, I mean, financially, what they're compensated is not. I don't want to say it's not great, but it's not what I make as a teacher. I'll just leave it like that. So to take that kind of cut and then, you know, not have the time to work myself up to the top. The top, no doubt about it. Those guys at the top that you watch on TV are making a ton. But if there's 120 Division I teams and there's 10 assistants on each, that's 1,200. You know, what is that? Do the math. Whatever it comes out to in the world, there's not a lot.
There's defensive coordinators at these big schools making $800,000 a year.
No. $2 million.
Okay, $2 million.
Some of these guys.
If you get to that spot, maybe it pays off.
As we're talking about, I'm thinking about Andrew Jackson, who played at Burke,
Yeah, I know
and
Andrew.
he's been in a different school pretty much.
JMU, WVU.
year. Old Dominion. He was at Rutgers for a while, I believe. Where did he go to? He was an assistant Post, where he went to school. He's been at like 6 or 7 schools trying to work his way up, and he, you know, he just got married and he's a great kid.
Yeah, we had him in here.
But he's still like a line coach or a whatever. Yeah, he's not into he needs to get a coordinator's job to move a little bit at one of these schools. And
I think I'll add this too. I think sometimes if you're one of those higher level Division I players, you can start off on second base.
Exactly.
In the sense of
right.
You're going to start where a normal person might have to start in D3 and then work yourself up. And I'm not knocking D3. It's great. You get great coaches there.
They do.
Or you could be a parent of a great player who has toiled in youth football, and all of a sudden you're on the staff when your son comes to our school.
Yeah. I mean, it's listen. It is what it is. If I could do it again, and I'm 21 years old, maybe that would be a different thought. But at this stage, it's just I would have to have a great package.
When I look back now, you know, at it, the money they're making now, and I might have thought differently about it. But to the day I retired, I wanted to be a high school coach.
Right.
But don't think I wasn't thinking about, you know, Bill Self just became today the highest paid basketball coach in the country. So you know what that's worth. Some of these guys are making 10, 11 million dollars, and even
That's not even counting the sneaker money,
yeah,
camp money,
right,
and
yeah.
appearance money.
right. And they talk
You know,
about
you get 500 for the appearance.
Dabo now making $11.5 million at Colorado. At Clemson. At Clemson,
You know,
crazy money.
Billy,
Yeah.
before you go, and again, appreciate the time. Did you grow up in Newburgh?
So I grew up in the Peekskill, Buchanan, Westchester area until about 9th grade, and then 9th grade we moved up, and I went to Ketchum across the river.
Did you play football?
I did.
What position did you
I
play?
actually played center.
Center.
Yep. I played for Ketchum. We were pretty good. We lost to the state champions, Roseville Yonkers. Coach DiMatteo was coaching that team back then. They won the state championship. They had, if I remember, Jimmy Kennedy was on that team. He ended up full scholarship to Penn State. And then, he went on and got first round draft pick.
I remember that.
I remember that. Yeah,
that was my last game. I knew I was not him, so I went right into coaching after that. So,
And your first coaching job was in Newburgh?
actually, no. When I was up at Cortland going to get my undergrad.
Oh, you went to Cortland? My son
I
went
did.
there.
Yep. My junior year, I had a connection from Ketchum that was from upstate, and I actually had the opportunity. I coached at Tully High School for a year or two as a junior and senior. So, a small varsity paycheck for a college student was great.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you got a little experience there
Yeah.
before I even graduated.
What are some, and I'll let you go. What are some of the bigger issues at a big school or any school, or issues or things you have to muddle through at a place like Newburgh? And when I say at a place like Newburgh, I could be saying at a place like Goshen, at a place like anything. What are some of the off the field things that you have to deal with?
Well,
Grades,
I think like every school has their own set of hurdles that they have to deal with. I don't think the stuff I'm dealing with is similar to most schools as far as our numbers. And once again, just,
what do you mean by that?
I just think different towns and different communities have different problems to deal with.
Right.
I have kids going home and walking through, obviously with everything City Newburgh has to offer. I don't want to get into it, but that's not normal for maybe some of the neighboring schools.
To
Gotcha.
put it down, the quality of life is a little bit different
A
in various.
lot of our kids are living harder,
Mhm.
and they don't have as much maybe as someone
Exactly.
like Cornwall or Marlboro, neighbor Walk Hill, just the neighboring.
I understand.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have to deal with trying to help those kids and guide them and lead them and try to get them to do the right thing and make sure they're consistent as far as coming to school and working and that type of thing and being consistent at practice every day. And some of the stuff you might take for granted at another school.
Sure.
Our kids aren't getting dropped off at the front door with the bagged lunch for lunch. Like that's
And I'll tell you this,
So-
and I want to say it again because it's important. Been to Newburgh 2-3 times, been to basketball games 2-3 times, never once had a bad experience. Always left there saying, wow, this place is beautiful. The facilities, everything, the people always very nice, never a problem.
Yeah,
Never.
I haven't had any issue.
No.
My
Billy, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate the drive here and everything
Appreciate
like
it.
that.
Really good luck Saturday.
Thank you. I
huh?
appreciate it.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
will be right back, and we have more Section 9 to do, but this portion of the show was brought to you by Artist Alley. Suite 12B on it's Market Street in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Absolutely the greatest girl in the world, beautiful, and she cuts hair, and she happens to be my girlfriend as well. We will be right back. We are back. This is Sports 845, and on the line we have, you know what, Dick? We talk a lot about we talk a lot about double A, single A, but there's a kid at O'Neill, and his name is Marek Arbogast. Am I saying that right, Marek?
Yes, you are, sir.
He's at James O'Neill, and let me just, Marek, I don't mean to embarrass you here, but I'm going to read something to you from a coach that has coached against you. I asked about you, did my research.
Okay.
Tremendous athlete on all three sides of the ball, can beat you on offense, defense, and special teams. One of the most dangerous players to have to scheme against in the last 20 years I've coached. But the best part about him is his personality and competitive nature at games. Before every game, he and I he and I would exchange some friendly words during warm-ups and some funny back and forths in the game over the many times our teams played. He's a great kid. He'll succeed wherever he goes and whatever he does. Do you know who that coach is?
If I had to guess, it's either from Burke or Chester.
It's from Burke. So
Yeah.
you are. Now, let me just tell the folks about you a little bit. Marek is at James O'Neill. He's got a grade point average, Dick, of 3.5, which is 2.7 higher than mine. He's an honors student, takes all AP classes. He was the Section 9 Player of the Year, the MVP of the regional championship, and the captain of his football team. And O'Neill is getting ready for a game this week against who do you have this week, Marek?
We have Chester, sir.
Chester. Don't call me sir. Call me Daren.
All right, Daren.
You can. And Marek, first of all, I think you're the all-time receiving leader in Section 9. Am I correct?
Yes, Daren, I believe so.
And Marek, tell us a little bit about playing. First of all, you're playing at a smaller school at O'Neill.
Mm-hmm.
And what's it like being? You play both sides of the ball, I assume.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your team, your teammates, and what it's like to play at a smaller school.
So, it's, it's definitely interesting, especially here near like West Point and stuff. We get new kids all the time. So it's like, it's always interesting to see what happens between, our offensive line and skilled players throughout the summer. And from my freshman year, it was certainly interesting if we had a season or not, obviously due to COVID and stuff. And I didn't know if I was actually going to play on the varsity team and stuff like that. But, it was just like, it was really just the next man up, and everybody, because it's a smaller school, I was able to get in pretty quickly. And, it's, I would say it's good too for learning, for like a lot of people get individual stuff, and, it's, I think the team really bonds a lot too with having less kids always being around, like, the same kids all the time, and I guess, big schools also have the same thing, but, it's a little bit different with smaller schools.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. What are your, obviously your goal is to win a state championship this year. You're a senior. What are you doing after this year? What do you plan on playing at the next level?
Yeah, so I think I might go to, it's still on the table, but I think I'm headed for USMAPS, United States Military Academy prep school, and playing football there. So.
That's a phenomenal achievement in itself.
Really? Yeah, very well done.
Give things out.
Are your folks West Point people? Matt?
Yes, we are. My dad's in the military, and yeah, this is his last spot for me anyway.
Oh, this is his last spot. How long have you been at O'Neill?
I've been at West Point for 6 years, but I've been at O'Neill for all 4.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Now, have you guys obviously played Chester before?
Yes.
And you have them coming up. How'd you do against them what's your record this year?
We're 5-5. We're 5-5.
5-5.
But there's been some ups and downs, and we played Chester earlier in the season. They were good. Very competitive. They have a great defense, offensive line, great coaching, and it was only a 3-point game. We only won by 3 points, and knowing that we beat them by 3 points is knowing that it could be either team that wins it this next time, and it should be a really fun match. So
where's the game, Marek?
It's in Spack and Kill.
You're playing Chester and Spack and Kill?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a neutral site.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they'd do one of the either Newburgh or Middletown or one of them. But anyway, okay.
Marek, you're one of the best receivers to come out of Section 9. Tell us about your quarterback. Someone's got to be throwing you the ball, and your offensive line has to be protecting the quarterback. You're on the, it's your time here. Tell us about O'Neill.
So, yeah, this goes way back to Kyle West and, last year's quarterback, Nick Waugh. They're phenomenal, and you had to manage the game. If I didn't get the ball, somebody else was getting the ball, making a good play. And it was, it was great. Our line protected well. And to my current quarterback, Chad Haley, he's been great. We, in the beginning, just like Kyle and Nick, we've had a little bit of miscue, but as soon as entering that second and third game, everything started to click really well. And our coach also putting together everything and making sure the right plays are good. And
Who's the coach? Who's the coach?
Coach Moskowitz.
Okay, we've had him. Yes,
we have.
nice man.
Yeah, and it's been, but with having those three quarterbacks being able to accomplish a lot, a state championship, section championships, and being able to break the record of New York State receiving all time is phenomenal, and I really appreciate them.
It's a great achievement, Marek. You have a 3.5. Let's talk about other things. You have a 3.5 grade point average. You take all advanced program classes. What do you want to do for a living?
Well, the plan is to go to West Point, and probably major in like management or business, and then be in the military for 5 years, and then get out and see what it's like to live a civilian life.
Marek, you're a great kid, and listen. One of your coaches reached out to us, and that the onus is on us. It's our fault. We spend too much time on A and AA, and there's some tremendous athletes at these smaller schools. And what people don't realize, a lot of times at these smaller schools, the bigger schools, you have the offense running off and the defense coming on. At your school, I would imagine you have a ton of kids that are staying on the field the entire time.
Yeah, it's it's exhausting for sure. But it's also like, it's also fun. Like, you go out on.
I'm sure it is.
And it keeps you in the game.
Oh, for sure.
You in the game. You have no time to relax, and which is so you have to stay focused. Yeah, that's playing both ways is fun, at least at the high school level. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Marek, I wish you nothing but the best. Continued success. You're a very nice kid. You're obviously a very talented and a very bright kid. And listen, we always say we root for the team that wins Section 9 and goes on. So hopefully O'Neill can continue and get a W this week. And absolutely the best of luck. Continued success.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That's
good luck, Marek.
Thank you.
Marek, Arbogast, James I. O'Neill, all-time leading receiver in New York State,
Right.
and that is a great achievement, and he's going to go on and do great things.
Yes, he is.
We will be back right after this. Village Pizza, Dick, is one of the best pizza places in not just Goshen, in the area. Village Pizza. Located on Greenwich Avenue in Middletown. I say it in Middletown. Greenwich Avenue in Goshen. They deliver Grubhub, Uber Eats, whatever the hell else you want to call. They've been there for longer than you. And Sal started, I think, the business, but his kids have taken over, and the place just gets better and better. The menu is fantastic. That's Village Pizza, 845-294-7923. Give them a call, get your pizza. If you're in the Goshen area, a million places in Goshen to get pizza. Village Pizza is the place to go to. Dick, before we get to college football, Billy, drove here real quick from Newburgh to give us an interview, and he did a great job. One of the coaches he forgot to mention was Andy Toback, the defensive coordinator. He's been with Billy for 23 years. They're good friends, and that's the one guy he forgot. That's like you forgetting me.
Exactly. I apologize ahead of my time.
Yes,
okay.
Andy Toback, a defensive coordinator, does a great job at NFA. Dick, college football, and we'll talk to the Irishman in a little bit. Let me give you the top 10 this week.
Is this
official top 10?
Okay.
Not bowl rankings.
No, okay.
Coaches poll.
Okay.
Georgia's 1 still.
Good.
Michigan is 2. Ohio State is 3. Florida State 4.
Mm.
Washington is 5. Oregon is 6. Texas is 7. Alabama, who you picked weeks ago, said, Daren, they're not dead yet, and they're not.
Right.
Alabama is 8. Penn State is 9. Ole Miss is 10. Now, let's go through this real quick here, because every weekend now you have basically playoffs.
Yeah.
This week is a playoff game for 4 teams. It's a playoff game. Ole Miss is at Georgia.
Right.
Ole Miss loses, they're out.
Goodbye.
We agree?
Right. Oh yeah.
Okay. It's a playoff game for Penn State. They have Michigan in Happy Valley.
Right.
So Penn State lost, gives them
Right.
2, they're done.
Right. Now, how does this going to affect Michigan, do you think?
Well, let's get there in a second when we work our way up.
Okay.
Here's your 3rd playoff game.
All right.
Your Crimson Tide has 1 loss. They go to a team that's been topsy-turvy, but it's always a tough place to play. Well, recently it's a tough place to play. Alabama goes to Kentucky.
Yeah.
That's a playoff game for the Crimson Tide.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's 4 teams. Texas, who has 1 loss to Oklahoma,
Right.
goes to TCU. By no stretch an easy game for them.
No.
And I know TCU's been down. So there's your. Wow, I'm really off. We got 1 more. We got
Right.
Oregon, who
Right.
lost a tough game at Washington.
Right.
They have USC, but I think they win that game.
I do too. I
so
do too.
there's your 5 playoff games
Uh-huh.
this week.
Mhm.
The top 5 are not necessarily playing playoff games. The
Right.
bottom 5 are.
Mhm.
Agree?
I do. You know, that hasn't changed much from last week. You know,
No.
hardly at all. At least with the top 7. So,
Well,
it's
Who wins in your mind? So let me give you a few games here. Alabama is a 10.5-point favorite on the road against Kentucky. You think Bama escapes that game?
I do.
Okay. I do too. Michigan, Penn State's your game of the week.
Right.
It's in Happy Valley, and the line went from Michigan was a 7-point favorite to they're down to 4.5. Favorite.
Because of what's going on, or because of football itself?
I think a combination of both, and we both know that there's only one person in this world that's never wrong, and it's Las Vegas.
Yes.
Who wins that game? Or do you want to wait for your
No,
picks?
I'm good. I'm not going to pick them anyway. I think Michigan wins.
Do you?
Yeah.
I happen to like Penn State in that
Okay.
game.
Penn State to win or Penn State to cover?
Win
Okay.
outright.
Ooh.
Texas goes to TCU. We talked about that game.
Yeah.
TCU is a 10-point dog. They've been one of the more disappointing teams this year.
I agree. Yeah, but don't forget they lost a whole lot. And when you lose a quarterback like that Duggan kid that they had last year, they lost a lot of good players. And a lot is the anticipation for them was so high. It's hard to play at that level after you played the national championship game, I think.
USC goes to Oregon. Listen, Lincoln Riley, we say it every week. He could score 70 points
Right.
a game and lose.
Right. And they do. And they do. That's what happens.
I think.
Now Oregon's getting better.
Agreed.
I think they may wind up in the playoff.
Absolutely. You're not.
If
It's
they
not a
win,
crazy thought.
if they win out, I think they're in.
Not
if
a
they win
crazy
out,
thought.
I think they're in.
Yeah, I just don't see him taking 2 teams from the Pac-12.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. So,
Remember, there's
well,
no
they
playoff
got
there.
people like Washington. Yes. Okay.
You would need now Washington.
Hmm.
Here's a team in Utah that plays defense,
Right.
And like to your point, Oregon's starting to play
Right.
defense. But if Utah had Cam Rising all year, I think we might be talking about Utah as a playoff team. Fact is, they didn't though.
I could see them maybe using been a favorite for it because they play both ends of the ball. I mean, they're good on both ends.
Mhm. I still think the best team in the country is Florida State. Florida State has Miami this week. That game would have been a lot bigger, but it isn't. But still, it's the Knowles versus the Canes. It's wide right.
Yeah.
It's the whole,
Yeah. I
pomp
still,
and circumstance.
until somebody beats Georgia, I think they're the best team in the country.
Fine.
Yeah.
You like? We both like Florida State in that game.
Oh yeah.
I do too. Ohio State goes to Michigan State. Michigan State's got all sorts of
Right, all
problems.
kind of problems.
Ohio State, we feel, wins, and Georgia is home to Ole Miss. That is
That's a huge game.
now Georgia seems to play better when the competition is
I
better.
agree.
And they have a tight end that's terrific.
And he's not back then though.
He's hurt.
Bowers.
Yeah. He's out.
He's 6 weeks.
That's right. I knew that.
Yeah. And they probably played their best football the last 2 weeks. Not without him. I'm just saying that other people have stepped up, but he may be the best. I think
Listen,
I think he's the best player in the country, personally.
When you're at Georgia, you have your 5 stars are replaced
Right.
by 4.5 stars.
Right, you got it. You
Dick,
got it.
do you know a lot of? It's a big story, and I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I
Mm.
know about the videotaping and everything. Tell me about the Michigan story and and
Well-
what you feel the penalty should be.
But here's the thing: the penalty probably is not going to occur until after the season's over. Harbaugh may get suspended again for a game or two or whatever the situation, but they're not going to do anything to the team. I don't believe. In other
Purdue
words-
coach wouldn't shake his hand after the
No,
last
understood. I understand that. But
game. Tell me, well, for the folks that are listening, what happened?
Well, they had somebody on their staff was going to various ball games that they were going to play and stealing their signs, sneaking into the stadiums, sneaking in behind their bench with the same kind of uniform on, recording all of these things. And, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but the Purdue coach made a point of it. We had to change all our signals within a week, or whatever our things were for a week. That kind of our football language. Let me put it that way, for a week.
Gary Danielson was on the radio right before I got here, and his suggestion was Harbaugh should come out, have a press conference. He was, he can't deny everything.
Right.
What we did is perceived to be wrong. I'm gonna suspend myself for the next 3 games. He's back for the bowls or the championship.
That would be fair. I think the Big Ten coaches are up in arms, as the presidents are. Now we got presidents involved in this and athletic directors, and you got the Big Ten commissioner. This is his first year, so this is going to be a big decision on his part, and you don't know where it comes from.
Is this a very big deal, or is it being overblown? Your opinion?
They've been stealing signs since.
This wasn't the Astros.
No. But I don't think. I just think where Harbaugh goes, trouble follows, or negativity follows. Let me put it that way. Don't forget, this has got to be his last year in college football. He'll be coaching he'll be Herbert's coach next year, or the Raiders coach, or somebody's coach next year. I believe. I think he has to. There's too many things following him. And obviously, he's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a coach.
And this could be the best team he has.
This is the best team he has.
Michigan goes to Happy Valley. It's going to be a very tough game.
Yeah.
Very tough game.
And Franklin doesn't win these games. That's why I like Michigan.
Neither does Harbaugh. 2-5 against Ohio State, coach.
Yeah, but Franklin's 1-10 against both of them. That's what I'm saying. He just doesn't.
So it'll end in a tie.
And I would say that. But anyway,
We're going to get.
It's not.
We're going to get to the NFL in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting a team tomorrow, unless you got a fourth quarter. Bo Nix. Unless you got another quarterback you want to put in there at the next level.
I love Penix, but I think Caleb Williams is the guy. Yeah, I just think.
Or Shador Sanders. I think Shador Sanders.
But I know Shador's not coming out.
No, he's making more money there.
No, but the thing of it is, I think Caleb Williams got so many games under his belt. I just think he's kind of like Stroud. I think he's a little bit NFL ready as opposed to the other guys. But I do like Penix. I think he's special.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
We're going to talk NFL because what happened this past weekend, I think, made the decision for the New York Football Giants a little easier.
Yes.
So when we get back, we'll talk NFL, and we will get the Irishman on the phone to give us his picks, and we'll talk some basketball. You know what, Dick? Why don't we? Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk to the Irishman.
Okay, you got it.
Dick, we do this show every week, and we can't do it without the coaches, the players, and we really can't do it since you and I have the technical skills of a rabbit. Richard Crankshaw does an incredible job for us, and he does it at a very discounted rate to help us. And RichCrenshaw.com. He does voiceovers extraordinaire. I think on one of the shows we'll have Rich do some voices. He could do like Seth MacFarlane or something like that. We'll come up with.
We can do something. Yes.
Dick, the Giants. I said it before we went to break. The Giants, unfortunately for Daniel Jones, I don't think you, I, or the rest of the world will ever know
How good
what his ceiling was.
what he's capable of. Yeah.
Because we say it every week: 4 coaches, 4
Yep.
OCs, no line, injuries, and I understand injuries are part of the game. But you had to, whether you like Jones, you like the Giants, hate Jones, you had to feel bad for the kid coming back, because the one thing you can't argue, he's a strong kid and a competitor
Right. I
and a
agree.
nice kid.
Yeah. You know what? We may see his upside on another team. It won't be with the Giants if he gets traded or something.
I don't know if anybody's trading for him now, but
Well,
when I say it
whatever.
made the
Yeah.
Giant decision easier,
Yeah.
I think you're looking for a quarterback now.
I agree.
And the Giants are 2-7.
Yeah.
They may have the number 1 overall pick next year, or at least they'll have an opportunity. And I'm being optimistic
Mhm.
of drafting in the top 5. And you're going to have Williams, you're going to have May, you're going to have Pennick, you're going to have. I don't think Nix is a first round pick, but I don't disagree with you with Caleb Williams.
Not knowing exactly all that, whatever it takes to be that, but he looks like he's more NFL ready. Playing probably because he played for Lincoln Riley.
So did Baker
You know,
Mayfield.
Yeah, but Jalen Hurts was a better player when he went, better quarterback when he came out of Oklahoma.
Correct.
I think, and I think Rattler made a mistake going to South Carolina. I think he could have been something special at Oklahoma. Well,
Correct.
once Riley left, but I just think he's just I think he's. If you don't take him, and he does turn out to be like Stroud.
I'm going to get to Stroud in a second. He's great.
But here's the thing: they drafted second, and they got Stroud. Don't you think they're real happy they drafted second, Houston? You just
Who went first?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. Okay.
Yeah.
Who also has done well.
Oh yes. But it's just it's a crapshoot for one. But if on a percentage basis, I think it's Caleb Williams.
We agree on something.
Yeah.
Miami 6-3. The Bills are 5-4. Something's not right in Buffalo. Cincinnati losing to Cincinnati at Cincinnati is certainly nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
But the Bills just haven't looked right.
I think they have a locker room situation, if you want to know the truth. I just don't know. I think Diggs is not helping that situation at all. It's just like when Devontae Adams wasn't helping that Raider situation. Just some of these wide receivers have become so prima donna. Chase, I'm always open.
Mhm.
Diggs, I'm always open.
Was I a
Devontae-
prima donna when I played for you?
Not-
I was
not-
always
not-
open.
not-
I was
you,
always
I know
open.
you were always open. You were always open. You were always open. You never closed.
No,
You never
no,
closed.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Mhm.
The AFC East, like I said, the Dolphins are 6-3. They don't have they don't have that big win against a good team yet.
And you're going to find a little more about them because now they start playing more 500 teams
Mhm. Above.
and I think with them playing at home is a big home advantage to them. I think they're faster at home. I think they're more acclimated to home. I don't trust them on the road at all. I just I'm not a big Miami fan. I like they're fun to watch play, but
They
know.
are.
I don't know about.
They have a bye week this week.
They do.
Dick, the Jets are 4-4.
Yeah.
They had a terrible loss last night in a game I thought they were going to win.
Me too.
It's with the Jets. If Saleh comes on every week and says there's no quarterback controversy, Zach Wilson is my starter, then damn it, let him throw the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they doing? If you're going to hand the ball off every time, I just don't get it. I mean, Zach Wilson looks best when his team is down in the fourth quarter on the last drive.
Yeah, well, how many times did he throw the ball last night?
He doesn't. I mean, it just
Yeah.
let him open up the playbook. If he's your quarterback, let him throw some picks. But give the team a chance to win. When you in the NFL, if you know they're running the ball, you're not going to win.
But here's the thing: their defense is so good. If they can play as close,
I don't
to the
think
best,
it's as great as people say, but it's good. It's good. They gave up a lot of 3rd and 10s last night for first down.
I think they're becoming a little disheartened. They
Okay.
still gave up 27 points, but the Chargers had less than 200 yards total offense.
Correct.
Less than 200 yards total offense.
Yeah, I'm saying their defense
Mostly,
is good.
you win games when your defense gives up less than 200 yards.
Mhm.
You win most of your games.
4-4 the Jets
Yeah,
at the Raiders in a game that I think is must win for the Jets.
no question.
Because after the Raiders, they go to Buffalo. They're home to Miami.
Yeah.
If they lose this week, you could be looking at a 4-17. Then the schedule softens a little bit. Falcons, Texans, Commanders, Patriots.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see that roughing the passer in the Patriot game?
Oh, I did.
That-
Oh man,
I mean, you can't even touch a
No,
quarterback now.
no,
That was
that-
the most egregious call
that
I've
was
seen.
terrible. That was absolutely terrible.
Dick, if I tell you right now, the Jets are 8-7 with with 2 games to go. You bringing back Rodgers? 8-7. You would finish up with the Browns in Cleveland, who are good, and at New England. 10 wins, I think, get you in the playoffs, which is the goal. I'm bringing them back still if
Are
they're
you?
8-7.
Are you? I just don't think you come back that. I don't care if he's
Well,
Superman.
I agree.
I don't think you come back from that kind of an injury that fast. And also, even if he gets that injured a little again, his career is over. I believe, because that's how fragile
See, the Giants, if the Jets don't make the playoffs, the Giants could actually be in a better position than the Jets next year or real quick, because the worst thing you want to be in the NFL or in any sport is middle of the road with
No.
an aging quarterback.
No, I agree. But here's the thing. Also, don't the Bears have the Giants' number 1 pick?
No, I don't believe so. The Giants have their pick.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
The
Otherwise,
Bears have somebody's number 1 pick who's having an awful season.
might be the Raiders in the Khalil Mack.
There
trade.
you go. I know
Might
they
be.
have. Yeah.
Might be.
Plus, with their own pick. So the Bears could.
We
Now-
always say the worst haircut in the league is Mark Davis. Did you see what Artist Alley did to Mark Davis? He looks like a good guy now. His hair looks good. Dick, if I was wagering right now, the best team I've seen in the AFC this year is the Ravens.
Today, they're the best team in the AFC.
I-
I agree.
After
I
9
agree.
weeks.
I agree.
The Chiefs are winning. They're 7-2.
Right.
They're very
Right.
good.
Right.
Their win over Miami the game was closer than the score. 21-14. They were up 21-0 and did nothing in the second half. Mahomes has not been amazing this year. Yes, I can't knock them. They're winning. They're 7-2, and they have some good wins. One over Miami. But the Ravens are 7-2, and they just seem like they're getting better every week.
Yeah, and again, there's another. We're going to see if Lamar Jackson finishes the season. Are we going to see that?
So far, he's been nothing but good. Mark Andrews has been the best tight end
No,
in the league.
I agree. Yeah.
Gus Edwards is playing well. We both know they lost Dobbins early.
Yeah, and
Odell Beckham has played well for them.
their wide receivers are just good enough.
Yeah.
They're just good enough, and
And
their defense is really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
That could be the best division in football. The AFC North. The Ravens are 7-2. The Steelers are smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
5-3. And give Tomlin all the credit in the world, because this is not a very good football team. The Browns are 5-3, and the best, other than the Ravens, Cincy could be the second or third best team in the entire conference.
Yeah, and the way the Cleveland team is playing defense, their front line is just overpowering at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Burrow is healthy.
Yeah.
They started off 1-3. They're now sit at 5-3.
Right.
And that's a very good football team. The South, the Jaguars are going to win the South. Let's the Chiefs.
How good do we think the Jaguars are?
Trevor Lawrence has not had a good year. I don't think the Jaguars are a threat in the playoffs.
You
right
think
now.
they think they?
I think they're a playoff team, but that's it.
You think they're good? Better? They have a good record because their division's so bad.
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I agree with you about Trevor Lawrence. I think he's been a little bit above average for him. Maybe our expectations. Expectations are high for him, but
I don't think he's been above average. I think he's been average at best.
oh, okay.
The NFC, you had a great game this week. It really was. Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles win the game. They're 8-1. The Cowboys are 5-3. Prescott played well. I really questioned McCarthy at the end of that game. I don't think he knew what he was doing. I cannot believe they ran the ball and cost themselves 40 seconds. But the Eagles, they're winning. They're 8-1. Are they the best team in the NFC?
You would have to say they are. You would have to say they are. Like Dallas, they're first and goal from the 6, then they're 4th and goal from the 30.
20, yeah.
From the 30.
Yeah,
Come
that's
on.
what I'm. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. How do you compound those mistakes with poor time management too? It just doesn't make sense to me.
The Eagles are 8-1. I don't think they're the best team in the NFC. I still think the 49ers are.
Well, we'll see how they recover. We'll see
They've
how-
had some injuries.
Yeah, we'll see how
but
they recover.
they also just added Chase Young.
All right. But they let Chase Young go. There's some reason that Washington let Chase Young go. Maybe he'll be revitalized with them because he has been near what he was supposed to be, in my opinion.
The Vikings are 5-4, and right now I don't know if he's the comeback player of the year or if there's an award for unknown player
Wow.
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
He single-handedly won a football game against the Falcons. And Dobbs gives the Vikings something they probably haven't had since Tarkington, a quarterback that can move.
Can move a little bit. But do you realize what he did? He did not take a snap in practice. The first snap
That's what I'm saying.
he took was in the next game.
Mm-hmm.
He probably said to 74, can you tell me what 81's name is?
Yeah.
And by the way, what's your name?
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of things.
Listen, he took a safety, he made a fumble in the first half, and then after that,
He was lights out.
he was unbelievable.
Right.
And the guy is a dual threat. He can
Yeah.
run, he can throw. He's an aerospace engineer, too.
Yes.
He's a very
Oh, I
bright
know he's
guy.
bright. He's
So
really
he
bright.
picked up the playbook
Yeah.
pretty quick.
The guy that's impressing me, if you want to know the truth, is C.J. Stroud.
That's what I wanna talk about.
I think he is just lights out, and the way he's doing it is just phenomenal. Those numbers he put in the other day, and just I didn't see the game, but the replays they showed, he was aware of his surroundings. He was where he threw the ball in tight windows, and he threw very catchable balls. I just think, they put a few things together. In the next couple of years, they could be a really contender.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
And if right now he's the rookie of the year. I don't care.
Hands down. Let me give you Stroud's stats, which are they're amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are for a rookie quarterback. CJ Stroud, let me just get this for you. Hold on one second, Dick. This is a rookie quarterback in the NFL who's in his first, what are they, 5-3? They played 8 games. He's thrown for 2,300 yards. He has 14 TDs and only thrown 1 pick. He threw for 490 yards in his last game, breaking a all-time record for a rookie.
That's, like I said, he's just been beyond. He's got to become a little more consistent.
He's been very consistent.
No, but what I'm saying, he threw 4 touchdowns, but the week before they got beat.
Well, they're not. Listen, the Texans.
They're not
were
good. I know
the
they're not
Texans-
good. They weren't supposed to win a game.
Right, and they're 4-4.
Right, I agree.
They're 4-4.
Mm.
We talked about Dobbs. We talked about Stroud. You hear Stroud talk about his father?
No,
hear
I
any of
did
that?
not. No.
I didn't know this, but his father went to prison when he was in middle school for some pretty awful things: carjacking, kidnapping, all kinds of things.
Okay.
And he got sentenced to 38 years to life. And Stroud is the complete opposite of his father, or at least the way his father was.
Right.
But talked about his dad and how he wished he didn't make that mistake, and so he could see him play and everything. It was really kind of emotional.
Yeah.
Kid's a very bright kid.
No question.
And he's going to do some great things in this league.
I agree.
He's had a better rookie season than Lawrence, than Aikman, than a lot of guys that we've seen come into this league.
Really, the only one I can really compare it to is going way back to Marino.
Or Lamar Jackson, maybe.
Yeah.
But Stroud's been incredible. Anything else in the NFL? We talked about Daniel Jones. We talked about the Eagles. I thought Prescott played well in the loss. I think the Cowboys are good. I hate saying that. They are good. They're a playoff team.
The Cowboys they're good, but Stephen A is right. What will happen will happen. Like he steps out of bounds, he could put the game away, and he's 1 inch away, and he steps out of bounds. Did you see what happened there?
Yeah.
On the one play, the receiver didn't get in the end zone to catch the ball, and then he got tackled. You know,
Well, the game ended. How are you not throwing the ball in the end zone?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But-
Plus, they get.
I said to you earlier in the
Yeah.
show, McCarthy and the Cowboys,
Yeah.
I don't think they had any idea what they were doing.
They delay a game,
Delay a game
a holding penalty,
and use their timeouts. And
Crazy.
McCarthy, after the game, said, I knew we were getting the ball back. You're down 28-23. If you know you're getting the ball back, why don't you kick the field goal?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I shake my head.
Yeah. We will be back right after this. When we get back, we'll talk NBA and college basketball opened up.
Right.
Brew on Railroad Avenue in Goshen sponsors this part of the show. You can always find the Irishman there. I go to dinner there about 3 or 4 nights a week. They have great food, great atmosphere. And the Robinson brothers are there. And every now and then the Irishman, they have live music. It is really a great place. Fantastic wings, great soups, and great entrees. We'll be back right after this. Dick, it is Sports 845. Like I said, November 7th, we'll finish up this election night show. We thank Billy Bianco for coming in. We thank Marek for calling in. The Irishman cannot call in, but he did reveal his picks via text, and he had a very good week last week. Let's get through a few things real quick before we get to the NBA, which we won't spend much time on. The Mets hired Carlos Mendoza as their manager. Never heard of him before in my life. He was the bench coach for Aaron Boone. You ever hear of him?
No, but he was. He played for the Yankees at one point. He's been a bench coach for quite a few years, actually, with different teams.
He's not the guy that they named the Mendoza line after.
No. That was Hector Mendoza.
Okay.
Anyway, and I think Council went for the money.
He said I wanted the money, but he's a Midwest guy. He wanted to stay in. He said he was never really interested in the Mets.
Yeah, no, I'm not even talking about the Mets. He left the Brewers. The Brewers offered this. Chicago doubled it.
Okay.
The Midwest went out of the. Once it became $8 million a year.
He's still in Chicago.
The Midwest, yeah.
I think Chicago's a good choice for him.
Yeah, but I think Ross got screwed because he was doing a great job. He was a good manager.
Yeah, I don't know why.
He could be with the Brewers tomorrow, or he'll be with somebody.
Could have been with the Mets, and I would have been fine with it.
Me too.
The NBA, it's early. It just started. Anything catching your eye in the NBA?
Let me just back up baseball a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Mets.
Oh, by the way,
claim-
the Rangers won the World Series, and the WNBA Finals, for the first time ever, outrated the World Series.
Oh, no, I know that. That was.
Go
terrible.
ahead. I'm sorry.
The Mets claimed infielder from Detroit, Zach Short from Kingston.
Is that right?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
I remember Zach.
A Sacred Heart kid. His dad was the pro at West Hills, the golf professional at West Hills, and at the Wiltwick up in Kingston. A great guy. Very athletic family. His, if you remember a few years ago, his other son, I think he went to Stony Brook, the baseball player, but he was also a point guard on one of the Kingston basketball teams, and he was very good. But it's good to see Zach home. That's nice to hear a local
I'm
kid
sure he's
there.
thrilled to death.
I'm sure he is
and
too.
Tommy DeVito, another somewhat local kid,
Yeah,
is the starting quarterback for the
Right.
Giants.
Yeah, we'll see.
And he will do everything possible to make sure he
I think that-
makes it available for the Giants to draft a
I
quarterback next
think
year.
they're going to start Barkley.
I think they're going to start DeVito. Why would you start Barkley?
I don't.
Why?
Why would you start either one of them? But I thought I heard coming in that they were going to start Barkley.
I
Anyway,
would, I would start DeVito just to see what he is.
Oh, no,
you know
I-
what Barkley
yeah,
is.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Anything in the NBA surprising you so far?
The playing thing. I don't
even understand it.
Me neither. I mean, I don't know how we can talk. I don't like the floors at all. I don't like
anything about it. It's silly.
There's so many things distracting from the game.
I don't even understand it. What is it?
I guess I guess there'll be 8 semifinal or 8. What would you call quarterfinalists? Is that how? Is that?
How many games do you have to win to get in? Some games are designated as play-in games. Some games aren't. The Knicks lost to Milwaukee. I didn't know it was a play-in game.
I think you have to win 3 games to win it all. I think.
Okay.
Well, maybe 4, but
Yeah, it's
I still, and
gimmicky,
particularly
it's
this
silly.
early.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows what they?
Yeah, anything that's gimmicky is silly.
Yeah, and then what's his name went for 17-6 and something else last night for the Clippers. Harden.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's going to work. I just don't think.
I
that's
tell you,
gonna
there's
work.
been a lot of video and a lot of isolation videos. When Julius Randle doesn't make a basket,
Yeah.
he doesn't play defense.
No, he
you're
doesn't do
You're playing
anything.
5-on-4 when you're
He
going
sulks. He sulks. Yeah, you're right.
He's a problem.
Yeah, they and I don't see how Thibodeau's kept him around that long because
You know what's
that's not his time of player.
That's what you're
Yeah.
100%
Right,
right.
right.
It's almost like Thibodeau is giving Randall the only guy he's ever given a pass to.
And a long leash, which
Unbelievable.
is surprising.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't either.
The
I don't-
Celtics are 5-1, Sixers 5-1. I think they play each other
Yeah.
tomorrow night. Knicks are 3-4. The Mavericks are off to a good start. If you're a Knicks fan, you're rooting against the Mavs. You hope they finish 11th because the Knicks own the Mavericks pick. If it's
Yeah.
outside the top 10,
Right.
it looks like it's going to be right now.
Yeah.
6-1. The Warriors are 6-2. Draymond Green is back. Jokic is one of the great players we have ever
And
seen.
he is so much fun to watch. I enjoy watching him. I wish that he played in the East where we could at least watch him.
Not
at a
only is he
decent
fun to
hour.
watch, he's fun to listen to.
Oh yeah, he's just really, really good.
See his interview the other night?
Yeah. What?
The other night he does an
I
interview.
didn't see it.
You had 40 points, 20 rebounds, and
Yeah.
18 assists. Unbelievable. He says, before we start with that, there are a lot of people dying in the, in
Oh,
the East
yeah.
and
Oh,
everything
yeah,
like that.
okay.
There's a lot more things more important than the game of
Right.
basketball.
Yeah.
You know, so he's a real guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He is.
What do you think of Victor Wembanyama after 7 games?
You know what? I think he's going to make a difference down the road. I think he's going to be a really good player. Again, let's hope he stays healthy. He's got that thin body. Even like Holmgren looks like he's going to be
Both.
a fixture there. If them two could stay healthy,
If
they
you're
could
buying-
be really good.
If you're buying stock in an
Yeah.
NBA team right now,
Send
the
it.
Thunder
Right.
and the Knicks are 2 teams you might want to invest in because of the draft capital they have.
Right.
Presti's done an incredible job in OKC. He's got draft picks like crazy.
He does.
And,
Yeah.
he's
And,
also
they're,
got...
and they're pretty good.
Yes,
And they're
I was
pretty
going to
good.
say, Holmgren and Gilchrist Alexander, those 2 alone could win you.
I agree.
You know.
They're very good. They're
They
very
are.
good. Yeah.
Morant is suspended the first 25 games. When he comes back, he'll play 2 games and be suspended again for something. I just don't trust him at all.
He may not even get back. He may do something stupid before
That's-
he even gets back.
Okay.
So
And Zion Williamson is still healthy.
right.
I'll tell you,
They rested him the other night. Then this early.
Yeah.
All these guys are all they. What
7 games.
the NBA is supposedly came down harder on that. 2 or 3 games in, somebody was a rest.
Yeah.
It wasn't an injury or I can't think of who the hell it was.
Well, I can tell you Ben Simmons is one of them.
Oh, that's who it was, Ben Simmons. He hasn't played in 2 years. He needs a rest. Please.
After 3 games.
Please.
But the NBA, again, it's such a long season. We'll talk about it more. We'll talk about, maybe we'll get Billy Bano or Jeff Glotzer.
Yeah,
They know
we'll
the
try
NBA.
to get somebody, yes.
Let's do this. Let's finish the show with our picks. The week before, I won. Last week, you won.
Okay.
This week, we start off fresh. But before we do our picks, let me give you the Irishman. Irishman likes Texas Tech plus 3.5 points this week. He likes Virginia Tech minus 1.5, and he likes Penn State in the game against Michigan. Penn State plus 5 at home. Dick, you won last week. You have the honors of going first. Let me give you what you wrote down here.
I can give it to you.
There you go, Dick. There you
Okay.
go.
I like Alabama, given 10. Obviously, you can tell by the show
10
that
and a
I'm
half?
10 and a half that I'm an Alabama. I'm more of a Saban fan than an Alabama fan. But having said that, I'm also taking Ole Miss, getting 11 from Georgia because at one point I was.
Ole Miss is going to score.
And at one point, I was not a big fan of Lane Kiffin. I thought he was a jerk and that kind of thing. But I think he's
Still
also,
may be a jerk, but
yeah,
he's a good coach.
but he's a very good coach, and I think he's going to hang in there. I like Texas because I think they're going to really make a push here the next few games. I think if 2 of those teams don't function in the top 4, I think Texas at some point is going to get in the championship game if they win out. And I like,
let me tell you something about Texas. Their quarterback, Evers, is hurt.
yeah,
I thought Archie Manning was the backup. He's the third.
he's the third, yeah. Also, making the most money. But and I like the Bengals. I just like the way they're playing. They're on I would be surprised if they had a letdown this week. I think they may be playing the best football in the NFL right now.
Fair point.
Yeah.
All right, Dick, here's my picks. And if we go according to schedule, this is my week to win. Daren went 3 college games and 1 pro game. First of all, let me give you the pro game. The Steelers are 5-3. They're home this week, and they play the Packers. And if Jordan Love was playing quarterback in New York, he would be. We'd see what kind of person he is because they would be destroying him. He has been beyond awful.
He has.
So the Packers
Yeah.
come to Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh has a pretty good defense. They're going to put a pass rush on Love. I can't believe the line is only 3. Steelers over Green Bay in Pittsburgh. I don't care if they played the game in Green Bay.
I agree. Pickett healthy?
Pickett's healthy.
Okay, all right,
I
there we
think,
go,
but,
there we go.
I mean, the Steelers are not
Yeah.
a great team, but
How
the
about
Packers
how
just look
about
awful.
how about the preseason expectation for Love? Everybody thought he was going to have the next coming of, well, maybe not of Aaron Rodgers, but he was going to replace him as Rodgers replaced who was
Favre.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And I didn't see that, and I see less of it now.
Yeah,
to be
and I
honest
think
with
the
you.
fans in Green Bay see
Yes,
less of it.
yeah.
He threw for 68 yards last week.
Yeah,
My college picks, and I'm going against you
I know.
on
Okay.
a few of them, or 2 of them. Missouri is +1 at home against Tennessee. Tennessee is a good team, but I just think Missouri +1 at home. I'll take the points in Missouri.
Okay.
I like Penn State. I've been saying it all week. I like Penn State +5. The line was 7. I should have taken them then. Now it's 5. Michigan just hasn't played anybody. We don't know really what they are. We know they're good. But I think Penn State, with 110,000 people there, upset with all that's going on in Michigan, upsets Michigan. I take Penn State +5. I would also take them on the money line. And my last bet is directly against you. Texas looked okay last week. They were lucky to win the game at home. They go to TCU. TCU's had a bad year. This is their game. TCU's getting 10 points at home. I'll take TCU plus the 10 at home against Texas.
There you go.
I gave you the Irishman's picks, and we will be back next week. We'll do this show again next Tuesday, and a very good show. Richard, thank you very much. Everybody, be safe, be
Richard,
healthy,
thank you.
and we'll see you next week.
Very
Bye-bye.
good.